Day 4 of the NFL Combine, aka the Underwear Olympics. The last day we will get to see these kids, these players showcase their skills and talents. On display today, running backs and offensive linemen. And man, what a quality pack available at running back. What's up? It's your boy Cintron coming back with another analysis video, and I kid you not, that's my real name. And like I said, we're going to get into those skill players at the running back position, as well as those hog mollies up front in the offensive linemen. So let's see whose stock is up today and whose stock is down. And as well as look at some guys who stood out in some other places, specifically running back. But first, we're going to get here to Chase Brown, the twin brother of Sidney Brown, the safety prospect, who ran a 4.4, I think a 4.47 yesterday. But Sidney came out, Chase came out, and Chase's brother, and bested him with a 4.43. And he's like a tweener. He's 5'9", a little bit shorter than his brother. And he is about 209 pounds, so like a medium, decent size for a modern day running back. He led all the combine backs with 40-inch vertical and a 10-foot 7-inch broad jump, so explosive. And that 40 actually exceeded expectations for what people said. They thought he would run. He doesn't have a lot of wiggle, but he can work on his game, mold it, shape it. But it's more than enough, and that speed is definitely more than enough in today's modern day NFL to get the job done. So most likely he'll be like day 2 or day 3 pick. He could slip into day 3 because the position is just devalued these days, and there's like 20 running backs with the 3rd round grade at least on them. So they should be available throughout the draft because with other positions being valued and people sliding and such, other people will be pushed down the board. So probably a talented starter will be available 4th, maybe even 5th round. I mean, no, most likely 5th round. 6th or 7th would be a surprise, but it wouldn't be impossible for that to happen or outside of the ordinary. And those guys to be found there. Anyway, Pacheco, Super Bowl winning running back for the Chiefs, was a 7th round pick out of Rutgers. Ran a 4.3, coming out of college, but wasn't paid attention to. But his running style fits what they need. All right, here we look at Blake Freeland, Brigham Young University offensive tackle. He's just 302 pounds with a 6'7" and 7/8 inch frame. I mean, that's just ridiculous. He needs to still grow into it. I imagine he's young. He's got this, sort of, young looking face. But he's just all around athletic. Under, sub 5 second 44 at 4.98. Excellent split for an O lineman at 1.68, 10-yard split. And 3 cone 7.46. So he's got good change of direction speed for his size, and they still don't rate him as a top 50 pick, but most likely day 2 or maybe even 3rd round he's gonna day 3 he's gonna come off the board. Offensive tackle, they're always looking for those dancing bears, and he's light on his feet, as well as he had a 37-inch vertical too. It's an athletic guy, so he's got a lot of pieces to work with. Hey, maybe a guy that the Eagles look at and target in the 3rd round. But I think they're still looking for starters. We're not looking to redshirt the whole class like we did last year. Jordan Davis was one of our biggest contributors, but even more so than him. I would say across the board he was. But if you look at impact, you could arguably say it was Reed Blankenship, who was the undrafted free agent coming out of Middleton, Tennessee State. And just a lucky find for us, but credit that to the scouting department. But that's where you're gonna really want to hit on these later round picks. These guys are technically throwaways, but they can come in and help a franchise because your team is built through the draft primarily. You don't want to be too deep into the free agent game and trade market. Those are just accentuations to the roster, not a main staple to go to or to go through. All right, John Gaines here, UCLA guard, acquitted himself decently. Wow, 4.45 second 20-yard shuttle. So he's he's light on his feet. fluid, low center of gravity, and they want those guys. I don't know how big he is. Okay, 6'4", so he can get low, get low, get low, get low. That's something highly valued in the league, and they're going to look for those kind of guys. He's 303, had some decent athletic numbers, 5.01 second 40. So he's pretty light on his feet. So we'll see how that comes into play. But I don't think that Eagles they're gonna be in position to draft a guard, because we just have so many positions on defense we're gonna need to refill. A defensive end, a defensive tackle would be ideal to draft those guys, or I'd say in a little bit defensive end, and edge rusher would be nice to get. So I mean, like, it doesn't matter which one it is, a pure 4-3 end, or a guy that's stand up linebacker in the mold of a Hassan Reddick, that I can be his bookend to him. Either one, but preferably someone who's not as light. I mean, we have starters in Josh Sweat, and then you could say Hassan Reddick on the other side, but who's going to be? I mean, you can't have too light of a package. Say we went with the guy out of Georgia, who ran the 4.38 at edge rusher. He's only 6'2", 238 pounds, so it's too light to be stuffing the run and playing the run like 100% of the time. So gonna need someone, we're not switching to a 3-4, so gonna need someone to be able to pursue the rusher. But I mean, in that case, he could be a backup. So I could actually see that he could spell Hassan, and then also coming off the Sweat side, he could be be on both ends. So we'll see. But anyways, that's on the defensive side. Talking about O-linemen here and our running backs. And the next guy, man, he lit it up at the combine. Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back out of Alabama. Only 199 pounds. I just don't want a light back in the mode of Miles Sanders. I want to move more into a power back mold. And the running back coming out of Texas, he ran 4.58, 4.59. Like not as fast as we wanted him to, but he's a power back. He checked in at 219 at 6 foot. So I mean, that's more than adequate size and power, but he just maybe it's a little bit too indecisive. And then Howie just doesn't traditionally value running back. So where are we gonna go? It definitely won't be a second round pick, or even I think a third. So I think a fourth, could be a third or fourth, depending on what we do. And also in free agency, we pick up somebody, and but it's cheaper to just go with the free agents, the draft route. You have a guy for 4 years at a very manageable price, and that you don't have to worry about that position for the foreseeable future, and that puts you in a great position to play. Because Jalen's in his contract, we're going to need to build a roster primarily through the draft, and that's going to limit a lot of options, and you're going to have to hopefully not make the roster too top heavy with the increase of the cap every year, but ideally speaking, you're going to want to bring in, and these rookies, and all those picks are going to be at a premium. You don't want to go the Rams route, where they're now dealing with the drawbacks of trading so many picks away, and then signing guys, making the roster top heavy. It becomes a battle of attrition. You don't have depth to fill out the roster, to fill out those spots where you can really bring in some quality backups, guys that can rotate in, and you not lose that starting caliber of quality of guys behind the starters that can contribute to your roster, to championship roster. The roster that we just had in 2022, the Eagles were perfect. You saw the rotation in the line. We were 8, 9, 10 deep, and you didn't lose much when the starters rotated out, which just made it relentless for teams to deal with their O-line. Just overload, simply put. And if they weren't on skates, then we'd see how the game would have played out. But it's all for now. So, anyways, let it go. But yeah, back to Jahmyr Gibbs. This guy, he caught passes regularly at Alabama there, and he had pretty good hands. He dropped a deep ball, but on the retry, he got it in stride, and it was fine. So I mean, he can quickly turn upfield. He runs a 4.36. I mean, so his straight line speed and also his agility. Work side to side, quick, not just fast. So he could be a weapon, but I think he's not. Yeah, they said he's number two behind Bijan, but Bijan came out and acquitted himself very nicely. No problems there. He was just very smooth hands catcher. Just seeing him just like he was in the games on tape. Just he catches very much like a receiver. So I wouldn't if we drafted Bijan, I wouldn't be opposed to it because with us most likely losing most of our starting pieces and depth pieces on defense, why not build an unstoppable juggernaut of an offense to help out that weakened D that's most likely gonna be a liability compared to the overpowering offense. So just go out there and try to outscore people. So we'll see what the philosophy is gonna be. Are they gonna try to balance things out, retool, rebuild, recuperate, or are they just going to refocus and load up? I mean, there's different strategies, but we'll see how he does. With the keys, he has the keys to the kingdom, to the whole franchise, and we'll see how he re-equips or replenishes these ranks and where he focuses in on. So lots of options to be had. All right, Broderick Jones, I think is the last guy we're gonna look at here. No, there's another. Those Georgia players, just in particular, can run. He's an offensive tackle, but 6'5" and 3/8 inches. I mean, he's bigger than the listed 3'11", but ran at 4.97 40. I mean, just like his wingspan is nice. They meet the standards for a left tackle, 34 and 3/4 inches for the arms. Big hands, 10 and 5/8 inch hands. I mean, he just looked explosive coming out of his stance, 3-point stance, and when they asked him to switch, go around for the pull, he was just an unstoppable force out there. So, I think he's definitely a solid first round tackle. But I love that the Eagles, they came out and they interviewed a list of guys, and a lot of these guys, they're not doing it for the sake of drafting them. They're doing it for when these guys reach free agency, we have a beat on them. We know kind of like their mindset and their makeup as a player, and then to watch them as well. Probably have a department within a department, scouting department, that focuses on players that play for other teams and franchises. This guy's gonna be contract is gonna be up in a year or two. Just keep tabs on him, and you keep records and receipts, and so can track a guy across his career and know if he's a good fit for what you do, your scheme, your locker room, and what have you. So, all right, another guy, City Sal, gave up 9 sacks this year, but he came out and had a nice combine. But that for me, that was just a killer. I'm like, once I found that out, I mean, like, you want to see why he's struggling, but 9 sacks, son. I don't even think our whole O-line maybe gave up more than that this year. And you gave up that just yourself? So, I mean, like, that's a little shaky, brother. A little shaky. City he's so discontent for me not to want to draft him. But, he's 6'5", 323, so he's a mauler. But who knows? I mean, maybe that was just a product of playing with other guys who just, he had to make up for their weaknesses, or a quarterback who held the ball too long, or there could be a number of issues you have to look at individually why each one of those sacks happened. But he's got heavy hands, man. Just dude, like he could be in the mold of the old Dallas lineman. I forget what's his name. Larry Allen. Oh, just a fucking monster, bro. Still remember him running down some cat, and like, he shouldn't have been able to do that. This is scary. But we looked at the guys whose stock is up. Now let's get to the guys whose stock is down. Tank Bixby, running back out of Auburn. Tank. But he ran a 4.56, and he just like he looked okay going through the drills, but he didn't look explosive. Like he was out there thinking too much, and it could be a product of him just being in this environment. But it's not like the quitting that acquittal that we want to come out here and see from him and have him submit himself as a top back. He's probably just another Um, he hasn't done any stuff to separate himself from that pack. It's Bijan and Jamar and then everybody else right now. But some guys did do themselves some favors. We'll get to them in a second. Jalen Duncan, Maryland OT. Just is up and down. A slower 40 at 306. I'm like at 5'10". Okay, but he said he's dealing with like Achilles, so I mean, you'll have to check out that medical again and see how he was at Maryland. But I don't know. Could be an option for the Eagles. Like we were looking for a guy for as a swing tackle, but there's a lot of guys in this group. DeJuan Jones, because Paris Johnson came out and acquitted himself very nicely. But this guy, 6'8", 374. Golly. I mean, just a mover. And this thing, he's a big guy, and kind of similar dimensions to our starting left tackle Jordan Mailata. And if anybody can work with putty and mold it into a nice little sculpture, it's the O-line coach that was actually out there on the field on Monday for me, Sunday for you guys, Jeff Stoutland, who we just signed to a contract extension. So, man, he'll be likely day 2 pick, but who knows? Pick him up and just mold him, Jeff. But let's get somebody else here. Kenny McIntosh, Georgia running back, and everybody gets in the spotlight. If you went to Georgia, you played there, they're gonna at least bring you in for a good look. So he probably had like a good record, or good stats, whatever. But 6 foot 204. He he has a size, but ran a pedestrian 4.62 in the 40, and it's just like I mean, there'll be some guys that outplay their their position or whatever, but yeah, you're not gonna sway me with that number. So yeah, it is what it is, and we'll see where he goes, but not the best performance coming out. So we had Devin Arcane here with the 4.32 from Texas A&M. He's a lighter back though, so I don't want to third down back. We already have that in Gainwell. Keaton Mitchell, East Carolina. I think he has some good size, 4.37. Deneric Prince, I'm looking at 4.41. Out of Tulsa, 2.16. Nice size to him as well, but is he just a third down back? Because I'm really looking for a lead back here, and who could be somebody who I really am high on, because I'm like, I don't really like their style ever, but looking at it, Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. Played at 220, came in, he ran at like, I think 214, and he's like 6 foot, solid guy. He's an all-purpose back. He can do everything. He can catch. He picks his way through the line. I think he had like a 7.4 or like over a 7 yards per carry average, which is nice. He can do screens, catch out of the backfield, decent receiver, get some good hands, and 4.53 speed. That's plenty fast enough. But he can not hit some of the holes, see some of the holes, like vision, or I think something like that. But I mean, a lot of work there. I'd love to play him on first downs and then have Gainwell play on third down and be a specialist. But he can do everything, so he never has to come off the field. I'm really high on this guy. I really love to see the Eagles bring him in, hopefully on like a third round pick. That would be perfect. That's my back that I want. Rashawn Johnson, he'd be my second. I know some of these are out of whack, but Bijan Robinson and Jamar Gibbs, I think are just out of reach, and they're not priorities. I want Christian Gonzalez maybe with that first pick, if not Jalen Carter if he falls to us. And I want to trade back as well with both picks and get some more middle rounders and round out things. So we'll definitely see how it goes, man. But yeah, we're not going to be able to return a lot of pieces on defense, so we're going to have to rely on free agency and primarily I hope the draft to bring in some guys, because all across the board, we're going to lose, I think, like 7 starters or something like that, and then key backups. We're going to need some help. But anyways, you didn't come here to see me beg on my hands and knees and plead. Hey, Howie, you know what to do. Anyways, we're going to get up out of here. It's always, because first of all, you're not even watching, though. But like I said, it's always fly, Eagles, fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.